We are getting into the swing of summer vacations, and while boarding your pet could be an option, you may also be looking to save some money and make memories by taking your furry friend along with you on vacation. I'm excited to welcome veterinarian Dr. Sarah Wooten in to the show via Zoom to show us some great tips. She has her own YouTube channel as well. You can follow her for some good advice. Welcome, Dr. Sarah Wooten.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, let's start off with the car ride. In a personal story, I just took about a 400-mile road trip with my sister and her 7 to 8-year-old black lab. She was perfect, but why do some dogs not like being in the car?
Well, some dogs don't like being in the car simply because they're not used to it. So one of the things I always tell my clients when they're going to be traveling with their pets is to practice ahead of time. Make sure you know what kind of crate or safety harness you're going to be using, and practice with your pet ahead of time so that you can get them used to the sensation of the motion, the different places, sights, and sounds. The other thing that can be really upsetting for some pets in the car is motion sickness. Motion sickness affects dogs just the same way it does humans, except the signs, instead of them saying, "Oh, I feel so sick," they get restless, or they get agitated, or maybe they pant, or maybe they drool, or maybe they refuse treats. There's a lot of different subtle signs. So if you're noticing anxiety in your pet when you're traveling, it could be motion sickness. So talk to your veterinarian about motion sickness medication.
And I'm curious, Dr. Wooten, what circumstances would you do a crate in a car versus just letting them kind of sit on the floor?
Well, I actually always recommend to people that they have some sort of restraint device for their pets. I've seen way too many pets come in with some sort of injury from being in a car accident. And sometimes it's something as simple as a broken tooth from an abrupt braking. So I always do recommend that people do have a crate, or they have some sort of safety harness, some way to restrain their pet inside the cabin so that in the event that something bad does happen, they are as safe as you are.
That's great. What about flying? Because, you know, we also know it's already expensive buying a plane ticket. And then if you have to add in boarding on top of that, it just can be really hard to pay for all that. So what are the best practices at flying with your pet?
So you're going to want to check the airline's website ahead of time, or call the airline and ask them what their specific restrictions are, because it's different for every single airline. You're going to want to make sure that you have a crate, whether the pet is traveling in the cargo or in the cabin with you, that you have some sort of crate to keep them in. You're going to want to do your research ahead of time to check and see what airports have relief centers. Also, you're going to want to visit your veterinarian ahead of time, and that's for 2 reasons. Most times, these airlines require a health certificate that shows that the animal is healthy enough to travel. The other thing is you're going to want to let your veterinarian know where you're going, because sometimes the infectious diseases in those areas are different than the ones that you experience where you live. So those are my main recommendations for people that are flying with pets.
Yeah, it's really smart. You know, we have some camping video as well from your YouTube, and you know, that's great. But personally, Sarah, you know, I'm a hotel camper, just to be honest. So how do we make the hotel stay as best for us as we can with our pets?
You're going to want to bring things that are calming for your pets, things that smell like you. You're also going to want to make sure that your pet is okay being left alone. One of the main complaints is pets that howl when they're left alone. So if you are going to be staying in a hotel with your pet and you have to leave them alone, again, do your research ahead of time. You're going to want to look into doggy daycares around there, because the last thing you're going to want is when you're out having fun during the day to get a phone call from the hotel manager saying, "Ma'am, your dog is howling." So those are the things. Also, look into calming aids. There's so many different options out there now. Everything from supplements to thunder shirts to sprays. A lot of them are over the counter, and they can help your pet feel calm when you are away.
You know, regardless of where we're traveling, and we're seeing some of your YouTube video there now, and it's just great that you're out there on social telling people advice. Because I have a feeling, just, you know, your last advice here on what to tell people if they're just generally nervous, and like Dr. Wooten, I don't really know what's going to happen here. I've never traveled with my pet.
Yeah, and it's really important to acknowledge those feelings, obviously, but then make sure to calm yourself as well, because we all know at this point that our pets pick up on our emotions, and if we're nervous, they're going to be nervous. So practice your breathing exercises.
All right, veterinarian Dr. Sarah Wooten, we thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.